Who would have thought that Avengers Endgame would be a game changer for the history of cinema? Okay, we all did. The records this movie keeps smashing is unprecedented, and it's a good thing because now there is a Hulk who doesn't smash anymore. Yes, you guessed it. We are the fanboys that were not too thrilled by the Endgame. Not that it wasn't a good movie. It was, but we wanted it to be great, which it wasn't. We have made a whole video on why it wasn't. Check it out in the link below. But it is truly the end of an era, and we are left wondering just how MCU will progress moving forward and what to expect. Not just in terms of the storyline and the new Avengers lineup, but also some of the other traditions that had become a mainstay of the franchise. Now that the stories of the original Avengers have been kind of wrapped up, let's take a look at the 5 biggest questions about the MCU after the Endgame that no one has any idea about. Number 1. How does the Marvel Studios intro change? Marvel Studios intro has gone through changes with the rising popularity of the franchise. What started off as a simple opening paying homage to the pages of the iconic comic books evolved into a montage of character moments of the Avengers, old and new, along with glimpses of key locations within the franchise. Now that Iron Man is resting in peace, original Captain America has retired, Natasha is lying dead, Hulk has lost an arm, and Thor is fat, we are really curious about how the intro will reflect the new status quo of the franchise. Number 2. Who becomes the leader of the group? In the first Avengers movie, Iron Man may have stolen the show, but make no mistake, Captain America was the leader. Tony Stark conceded as such in the Age of Ultron, claiming that he just funds the operations and makes everyone look cool, but it is really Cap who's calling the shots. And it makes sense because Steve Rogers represented the idealistic values of heroism as opposed to Tony Stark, who often put the team in harm's way. But now that Steve Rogers is old, it would be interesting to see who fills in his shoes of the Boy Scout/leader. I know some people out there must be thinking that it will be Falcon, but there are reports that he and Bucky are going to have their own show on Disney+. And the fact that MCU hasn't entertained the notion of crossing over with the television properties in the past, the position of the leader is up for grabs. Number 3. Who becomes the mad scientist? Every team of superheroes needs a mad scientist. For the Justice League, it is Batman. For Ninja Turtles, it was Donatello. For the Avengers, the mantle belongs to none other than Tony Stark. Some people might be thinking, what about Bruce Banner or Professor Hulk? After all, he is the true Jekyll and Hyde of the MCU. But Tony Stark is so much more. He's the brainy beater to Captain America's Boy Scout Alpha. He understands things no one else does. Not only did he single-handedly kick off the MCU, his character was the reason why people kept coming back. And he would always be the one to determine the science that was needed to win. In fact, the movies where he wasn't using his brain for science ended up being detrimental for the Avengers. Case in point, Civil War and Infinity War. Professor Hulk may be the obvious choice with him being useless without his rage or his right arm, but after looking at the Far From Home trailer, maybe Spider-Man does take up the mantle of Iron Man after all. Number 4. Who makes the cameo in every movie? This question has less to do with the story of Endgame and more to do with the passing of Stan Lee. Stan Lee, of course, is the comic book legend responsible for creating majority of the Marvel characters and helping to bring the rest to life. Paying homage to the great man and to have a little fun, he was given cameos in every Marvel movie, with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 proving a fan theory that he is in fact the Watcher of the MCU. He had managed to record his cameo of Endgame before his passing, and in a poetic manner managed to see through to the end of one of the greatest sagas in film history. Since his cameos had become staple in MCU, it would be interesting to see if having cameos in Marvel movies will remain a thing or will be discontinued altogether. Number 5. Will there be post-credit scenes? Even though MCU didn't introduce post-credit scenes, that honor belongs to the Pirates of the Caribbean, it did manage to popularize the concept. For the past 11 years, the post-credit scenes of MCU movies have been akin to one last drag of that sweet cigarette that keeps you coming back for more, teasing what to expect from the next movie. But the Endgame changed all of that. Continuing its trend of subversion, wait a minute, where have I heard that before? Oh yeah! The Endgame did not have a post-credit scene, just the sound of a hammer beating on an iron sheet, a callback to Tony Stark working on Mark I. The newly released Spider-Man trailer is now being shown at the end of the movie, which begs the question, Is the age of post-credit scene over? Will we now get trailers of upcoming MCU movies as post-credit trailers? That would be a sweet way to launch new trailers and dial up the ever-increasing hype machine of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Did you like our list? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.